Good morning, music appreciation. So, I'm going to be doing this with you guys. Now, what you see in front of you guys right now is very, very similar. All I did was move the notes around. So if you understand this, you'll be able to mirror it on your page because it's literally the same thing. So let's start with the top line, the violin line or the first line. So in this one, we're being asked to label the pitches below with the correct alphabet name. So this is the treble clef. Remember that with this one, the lines are every good boy does fine, and the space is spelled face. So just knowing that, we have the first line. So I'm just going to click on it. Chord. Oops, that's not what I want. I want a lyric because it goes under it. You can put it on top. Really, it's not a big deal, but it just looks cleaner when you put it on the bottom. So I usually do it on the bottom. Uppercase, lowercase, it does not make a difference. E, which the next one I see is going upward. So we know that EF, and it's the first space. So I know that's true. Now, this is easy because it's just going up the alphabet. Cool. And then it went back down. So that one's F. Now that's for this one. Make sure you read yours correctly because it might be starting from a different note. All right, the next one is on the second line, which we already know is G. And this is very repetitive, but the point is to learn it. So there's only, that's the only way you can learn it. That's an A because we go from A, B, C, D, E, F, G, goes back to A. So that one's A, and this one is B. And then you can see it's going down, so it's A. Okay, now this one, it's the first space. So the spaces spell face. So the first space is F. Then that is the second line, every good, or you just do the alphabet. F, G goes up a step. Remember, as you can see here, it's always from a space to a line to a space to a line. Alphabet is moving up. G goes back to A. That one goes back down to G. Now we're in the A. A, B, C, and that one goes back down, so that's a B. All right, so there we go. There's the first line. This is going to be in treble clef, so you just need to worry about the every good boy does fine in the face. Now the second row, it says label chord names below. Example, C chord, D chord, E chord, etc. Now, if you guys remember, when we talked about chords, which we learned about, you always name the chord, especially if it's in what we call root position, like this. See how there's the bottom note, and then equally spaced on the next space is the next note, and then the next one. This is as opposed to seeing this like this. Let me try to move one of those notes. Oops, oh, that's fine. So, first of all, I've selected a note, and now I'm going to move it up. Do you see how that sounds like a chord, but the spacing is different? This is what I mean about root position chord. This is root position. This is not root position. A root position is always 1, 3, 5, and we go 1, 3, 5 because this is the first note, and then we have 2, 3. Third space above it is the note, and then 4, 5. So that's just the space. 1, 3, 5, or root, third, and fifth. So if we look like this, the name is always going to be the note from the bottom. So this is F. So I'm going to click on that, and then that. You could just put the letter. I will understand that. All right, so for this one, the bottom note is, remember this is C, so this is D. Boom, that's a D chord. This one goes a step up, so this is an E chord. This one, let's see, it's on the second line, which we know every good, so that's a G chord. Ooh, that's a weird sound. Okay, so if this is G and then this one's A, or that means this one's B. So this is a B chord. which, notice how it sounds. I just want to kind of comment that. That's G, which, yeah, in C, this is the fifth, so this is a dominant. And 5 goes to 1 always, but here it's going to 7. So the 7, as we learned, is a dissonant chord. Remember that? Anyways. So you can hear that. Listen to that works. That works. And then, ooh, it sounds weird. Okay, just to kind of remind you of that. All right, now the next one. What is our bottom note in root position? It is an F. So we call this an F chord. The typical, and I was about to say it, typical music teacher always says, this isn't rocket science. But the reality is it's not easy for everyone. It's not easy for everyone. So for some people, it does feel like it's rocket science. Anyways, that one's F. Look, it's the same thing. That may not be the case in yours, but make sure you read it correctly. Okay, and the last one on this one is that high chord up there. If anyone remembers that, well, F, A, C. So it's a C chord, but a higher C chord. Oh, okay. All right, and that's how you label chords. You just give them the names for right now when they're in root position. This is 1, 3, 5. It's just you name them from the bottom of the note. We will be learning about inverted chords, and that's just what it sounds like. You bring this note and you send it on top. For example, I'm going to select that. Just to invert it, just to show you really fast. So that's a C. I'm sorry, that's an F. So there we go. We moved the bottom F and moved it up to the top. Now this is called now because from this space to that top note, how many spaces are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 5, 6, 7. So that's an inverted F chord. All right, so that's all that means, but we're just always going to see it for now like that. Label the intervals. This is just counting the spaces between these notes, just like I did up here. So if we start with this one, and then we hear this one, you can hear it's kind of the same, hopefully. But if not, you can just count it. 1, that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the interval is called, if anyone remembers that, it's actually called an octave. Oh, I think it froze. Okay, text. Yeah, it kind of froze. Okay, well, I think just this is frozen. Anyways, you're just going to title it. So that's an octave. This one is a 1, 2, 3. So this is called a third. This one's a 1, 2, 3, 4. Because they're 4 notes apart. It's a fourth. 1, 2. That's called a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 notes apart. So that's 6. This one's from a D to an E. Oh, whoops, there we go. Okay, so a D to an E, that's going beyond the 8. So we still consider this a second. It's just actually some pianists call it a ninth because it's a big old stretch. But we can call it a second. It's just a trick question. And this one here is from a D to an A. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 spaces. And remember, we're counting space and lines. The last one on this one is a D to a D. That's the same note, but just in an octave apart. So that's an octave. So you can put an 8 or type out octave. Okay. And just to not make this video last longer, you just have to write consonant or dissonant. And this is, you can definitely, if you don't get this right, it's okay. I just want you to start hearing these things. So tell me, this is exactly what you have. So we're listening to them. Oops. There's that one. Does it sound consonant or dissonant? Does that sound consonant or dissonant? You tell me. Okay, what does that sound like? And you're trying your best. If you don't get it right, again, does not matter. Okay. Ooh. Etc. So you're just gonna write, this is not the right answer, but I'm just writing something in, so please don't copy this like this. Or this. Or if you hear consonant, con, etc., etc. So it's gonna end up looking like this. It's just, everything is gonna be labeled. I didn't do this bottom part, but you will have it labeled. And that's all. Make sure you submit by midnight of Sunday or before. Good luck.